Hello, everybody. How is everybody feeling on this Sunday? It's your girl, Tiffany Nicole. See you guys coming in the chat. I'm loving this. I'm loving this. Well, welcome back to my Child is in Prison Now What podcast. I want to welcome all of you mothers that are in here and listening to this episode. I know some of y'all don't want to hear the hard truth. And some of you guys saying, Tiffany, I did not want to chime in on this episode. Some of you said, Tiffany, I don't want this episode to give me anxiety. I don't want this episode to give me fear. Um, but this conversation is not about the family's pain. It's about what's happening in the prisons across the country. And there's one thing I do not want you guys to leave here is that I don't want to push any fear in anybody. But this mother, Sibyl, needs to share her story and the world needs to know what's going on inside those prisons. So today, where I'm located, it's in California, so it's 4 p.m. my time. Others, it's probably you guys' evening. Um, we're talking about something that should have never happened inside prison. K2. It's a synthetic drug that's killing our sons and daughters behind prison. These prisons are supposed to, this is supposed to be a place of correction and for people to be able to get out. But instead, they're becoming a place of addiction and overdose and death. That's what prison is turning into. Tonight, my guest, let me introduce. I have a special guest tonight. When I say she's a powerhouse, she is powerful. This is what, y'all, there is purpose in your pain, and she is a prime example. I don't care what anybody says. She is pushing through her pain. She's just not a, she's a mother just like us, like me. Many of you that are watching right now, you guys have children that are incarcerated. Her name is Sibyl, and I just honor her and I give her much grace and mercy on this interview and her boldness to come on this platform to share her story about losing her son, not just to violence but to a K2 drug that should have never happened. Sibyl, I want to thank you for joining us and thank you so much. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tiffany. I'm honored to be here.
How are you
Uh,
feeling?
I'm feeling good. I just want to say thank you to all of you who joined in live tonight because this is a very um, heartfelt platform. And I thank Tiffany. I thank you so much for creating this platform for moms like me, you, and other moms that are here tonight. It's hard, but it needs to be told.
It needs to be told. Don't mind me. I'm timing into the chat. I would just want to tell
Okay.
everybody thank you for joining us.
And
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. And thank you for joining us on this episode. So I'm just giving some shout outs here. I see Crystal in the building. I see Amy in the building. I see Mariah in the building and Mary. I see you guys. Thank you guys so much. Again, you guys, don't be shy in the chat. She's going to share her story. And as well, you guys, she said out of her own mouth, she's an open book. So you guys have the right to do, you can ask her questions. She said she is ready to answer these questions and to help other mothers that sometimes we're in denial about our children. She's here to help everybody that's joining us on today. So, Sybil, again, thank you so much. First, tell us about Chase.
so James is my 31-year-old. He's my second born, and very beautiful young man. Gorgeous, gorgeous hair, gorgeous skin. A smile that was just contagious. Beautiful dimples. That's him physically. Uh, he was just a living caricature. He was always doing stuff to make someone laugh. So prison was very difficult for Chase. Um, Mentally, he was having a hard time coping, but he hung in there strong. He's a father. He has 3 daughters, and we're holding on now, taking care of those girls because they are what I have. So
Hmm.
That was Chase.
That was Chase.
Hmm.
So, what was your initial reaction when Chase first got sentenced to prison?
Believe it or not, Tiffany, when Chase was in prison, when I found out.
Mm.
So Chase was one of those kids that he was very independent, did his own thing. He was an adult, so he didn't, he didn't live. We didn't even live in the same state,
Okay.
and so he would call. He'd always be in touch with somebody, so we always knew that where he was round and about, whatever. So when Chase had gone to prison before for something different
Okay.
and served his time and out living his life, doing his thing. So when Chase got sentenced this time, um, I wasn't present. I was here in Alabama and he was in Arkansas.
Okay.
He had someone to call me and let me know that he had um, gotten sentenced. He stayed in county for a long time. And I was comfortable with him being in county because it's safer than being in the actual prison. Uh, they were good to him there at county. We were able to talk. They would even let him use the phone. He'd come up to the desk and call me at 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, boy. But when he actually got to the first unit that he got sent to, he stayed in trouble a lot fighting. And some of the moms may know that, he was just always in trouble fighting for whatever reason. These guys are in there surviving. So he was in there fighting, getting in trouble. And he got sent to a different unit. And that didn't work out. So the third unit is the unit that he was actually in the final time is in Dermont, Delta Regional.
Okay. What were some of the dreams that Chase had before he got
Mm,
incarcerated? Like, what was his dream? Even when he got out, like,
yeah. So
what
we
was his
talked a
dream?
lot because
Okay.
Chase was 7 months, a little less than 7 months before he would be getting out. Had completed 5 years, almost 5 years. And he really wanted to start his own business. He knew that, being incarcerated, it takes away from, you know, their freedom once they get out. So they have to create a job a lot of times. And Chase was very adamant about starting his own barber business. He wanted to cut hair because he was cutting hair in prison. He loved horses. He said he wanted to do something with horses because my other sons have horses. So he was really ready to get out and get married, take care of his children. He said, "Mom, I'm tired of this street life,
Right.
the
Right.
streets out there." So he had dreams of starting his own business, and Chase was a helper. He loved helping other people. So I know that whatever he did, even if it was starting his own barber business, he was going to figure out a way to help somebody else start their own business or give them a job or something.
Right. I love that. I
Mm,
love that.
yeah.
So when he was incarcerated, you said he was 5 years. He already served 5 years, and he was
He was he was
about
supposed he died March the 7th of
okay.
24, and he
Okay.
was scheduled to be released October the 3rd of 24.
Okay. Now take me back to about was it about a year ago?
Almost a year ago.
Almost a year ago. Take me back a year ago. Did you see any for mothers that are listening right now?
Mhm.
Majority of the mothers that are listening all have children incarcerated. Myself, I have my son who's been serving 5 years.
Yeah.
Um, what are the things that you notice different about Chase, and what are the
Mm,
things that us mothers should be paying attention? Like, is there key words, or is
yeah.
there like maybe the stuttering or something? They're slow at speech.
So, um, I'll take you back to 23, right? December of 23. I had Christmas at my house. Chase's kids and all of my other children and their families were here. We got to talk to Chase. He had just gotten out of the hole
Okay.
in December of 23. He had been in the hole for fighting yet at that prison. Um, he got out of the hole and he was able to call us. And then the beginning of the year, I'm gonna say around January, middle of January, he got into an altercation with another young man. I got an email that he had gotten into an altercation and that he walked away from the other guy. Excuse me. He walked away from the other guy, but the other guy came at him, so there was a fight. He got put back in the hole um, in January. So when his grandmother passed away, he wasn't able to attend the funeral. Fast forward February, he got out, and we wrote letters back and forth. And it was just something surreal for me from January, February, March was just crazy.
Okay.
Um, I had asked my family if they would, we have a cousins group chat. And I had asked my family starting in January, you guys, just, Chase is getting, kind of depressed. He's writing me. He's saying, that the walls are closing in on him. He's really battling spiritually with him, with himself. He wants to live right. He wants to do right. He's ready to get out, come home. But he knows that when he gets out of prison, he has to start over. He's been in here for 5 years.
Mhm.
So I asked my family, can you guys please send him cards, write him, just encourage him, uplift him, help us out, please, because, my baby's getting ready to come home. But it was just something about Chase's letters. God was just pulling at my heartstrings, y'all. And just the difference in the writing and the words that my son was using when he was in the hole, God was dealing with him.
Mhm.
And
Take your time.
it was almost as if he knew something was going to happen to him because the letters were different. My letters to him was different. We were talking about not giving up, don't lose hope. We were talking about things like that. It's just, our conversation kind of shifted.
Okay.
It shifted into a place that was, as a mom, knowing my relationship with Christ, um, it was real deep for me and scary for me because God, he takes care of us. He protects us.
Mhm.
Um, so anyway, Chase was ready to get out of the hole. He was excited about getting out of the hole. But on March the 7th, um, my husband and I was getting ready to go to Baton Rouge to my sister's house. Her son was going to be playing a basketball game. So we were the next day. So we were going to be traveling from Alabama to Baton Rouge. And I got a call from one of Chase's friends that lives in Arkansas. And she said, Mama, you need to call the prison. Something's happened to Chase. So I'm running around through the house trying to get my bags in the car because we were going, out of town. And I said, what do you mean? What are you talking about? She said, something's going on. All I know is that I got a call and I don't know if he's been attacked or what, but medical's got him. He's gone to medical. After I got my thoughts together, my mind together, I immediately called the prison, and the young lady that answered the phone, uh, as if it's, God was telling her that it was me. I said, I told her my name and I said, I'm calling about my son, and I gave her his number. And I just want to know what's wrong with him because I'm hearing that something's happened to him. Um, and I could hear the young lady in the background saying, his mom's on the phone.
Mm.
And my heart stopped, y'all. She says, hold on, uh, I'm gonna get, somebody up here to talk to you. And I said, okay. So I'm holding the phone, and I think that she thought that she put me on hold,
Or she
but
thought
she
she put
did
you on mute and hold
on
it, but
mute.
really, but really.
She didn't. And uh, she said to me, she asked the other lady, she said, is he still with us? And I heard her. And they said, yes.
Mm.
So I'm yelling into the phone, what's happened to him? What's wrong? What happened? What's wrong with my son? So by this time, y'all, I'm 8 hours away. But and it's March, mind you. I'm putting on like whatever I could find, shorts, t-shirt, whatever. It didn't matter. and I was like headed to Arkansas. My husband and I, we were headed to Arkansas. But the young lady still has the phone up. And
Mm-hmm.
she came back to the phone and she said, "Mom, he's still with us." I said, "Well, I'm coming, but what happened?" And she said, "I don't know. I can't tell you what happened. He is in medical, but he's still with us." And she said, "I've got to hang up, but I'm gonna have uh, the warden call you back." I don't even remember who she said. I said, "Okay." Well, 15 minutes went by, 20 minutes went by. I'm like, "Forget it. I'm gonna call her back." We're on the road by now, and
Take your
she
time.
put me she put me on hold again.
Mm-hmm.
And the chaplain came after several minutes. We're driving. The chaplain comes to the phone, and bless his heart, no one has given this man any type of uh, warning or anything. He just comes to the phone and picks up the phone and he says, uh, uh, "Hello, this is chaplain. This is a chaplain." And I said, "Okay, this is Sybil. I'm calling about my son." And he goes, "I'm so sorry for your loss."
So hold on. Let's pause. Um, you didn't even know yet. He thought someone told you already, because I guess that's probably the protocol of how it goes. Someone tells you, and then you speak to the chapel.
Well, the chaplain is supposed to tell you.
Oh, the chaplain's supposed to tell you, but he just went, "Oh, okay."
So it's a lot of missing pieces, still, because I was told that he was found unresponsive in his bunk with another inmate, and they were uh, in there smoking together or whatever. But then I also was told that he was found in there and then taken to medical, and life-sustaining measures were provided to him. He actually passed away at the prison, and then they took him to the hospital.
Mm. Now,
Uh, Also, the hardest part to it all, though, is a chaplain telling you that he's sorry for your loss. I'm screaming, driving down the road by this point. My husband's driving, and I'm like numb from that point. But the worst part of it all is not knowing for 4 months how your son passed away.
mm. Now you said a lot. I want to go back a little.
Okay.
You mentioned that your son's letters started to change.
Yeah.
So that right there, mothers want to. Someone, I think it was Amy in the comments, mentioned a mother knows, and you had that gut feeling something shifted. It's nothing like a mama, because us mamas do be knowing.
Mamas know, baby. I will go one either, y'all, as God is my witness, this is so much. But during the time period that I had asked my family to, y'all please reach out, write my son, write him, give him encouragement. I had had a dream that I had shared with my sister and a couple of really close friends. And the dream prepared me for this. I
Mm,
won't go into the dream specifically, but the dream prepared me for this. It was pretty similar to the same dream that I had prior to when Chase's father passed away.
do you think Chase was numbing his pain? And because we're going to talk about, how he died,
Right.
is the K2 drug that is in the prisons. And the way he was writing you, do you think that he was suppressing that and just at some point he just didn't want to be here anymore?
Um, no, Chase was clean while he was in the hole.
Okay.
He was clean in the hole. I can tell, and we all know as moms, if you've dealt with a child that has some type of addiction or something like that, you know your children. And Chase was clean when he was in the hole. He got access to what he got after he got out.
And mention what prison this is,
Delta Regional in Dermont, Arkansas.
because a lot of people asked me, and I was like, "You have
Yeah,
to listen to the
yeah.
episode," because I wanted you to say the name of the prison.
Mhm.
Um, this
So
is
we were
really
to
powerful.
I'm sorry.
No, I was
We
just saying this is
yeah,
powerful.
we were told, one of the state investigators, called me. We talked a lot, and I, I, I said, okay, we're waiting on the autopsy report, but I just need to know. You can't expect me to sit here for 2 or 3, 4 months waiting on an autopsy report. I need to know what happened to my child. And he watched the video and uh, chasing another young man. They they actually used the K2 in the cell. Cameras are watching them using the K2.
Y'all, this is what irritates me. And we pay their bills because we taxpayers. So
Yeah.
these guards are sitting there flipping through a magazine and they see what the inmates are doing and not doing nothing about it. And someone just put in the comments like, "So are the guards bringing in this?" Well, Brenda, let's think. The inmate
The, the,
doesn't
the
leave.
mates aren't leaving.
So, I mean, my son is in prison. He sure can't go to 7-Eleven real quick and come back and get him
Right,
some Snickers and some Skittles.
right.
And, so obviously
It's coming in some kind of
it's
way.
coming in some kind of way.
Mhm,
And they're sitting in the chair. I'm gonna say they sitting on their asses and they
mhm.
looking at the cameras and they see
Knowing
this
how
in
unpredictable this drug is. This drug has killed thousands of children. It can be laced with anything. It's because it's a synthetic cannabinoid that's man-made. It's very unpredictable. It can cause all type of psychoactive issues. I mean, it- it's bad. No one ever knows how it's going to react uh, to that particular person, and as we know, it causes death. You could seize, vomit. It's a cruel, painful way to pass away, and we have to keep our kids off of it.
I'm just irritated because you said that the guards are on the camera and they sitting there.
Yeah.
And with your son situation, let's go back to where the guards and you mentioned to me that they were supposed to do a step with your son. They didn't do it. What was that again?
So this was considered an overdose, although they didn't say it was an overdose when it actually happened. They just said that they provided CPR and all these things.
Hmm.
But one thing that they didn't do is they didn't give him any Narcan to get whatever was in his system out.
And now, what is Narcan? So people who don't know that are listening.
So Narcan is a medication that's used when people have an overdose, whether it's an intentional or accidental overdose. You give the Narcan to the patient, and it automatically wipes whatever is in their system out,
Hmm.
so to speak. And it could have been something that could have helped, but it's not available in Arkansas prisons in medical.
Is there a reason for that? Why it's not?
It's probably because it's expensive. Maybe I'm not sure. Yeah.
You have people in the chat are giving you so much love. They're telling you that
Thank you
they're
all.
loving you
Thank
and
you.
your boldness for you to get on this platform to share your story.
Thank you guys. It's I wish that I had been a lot more brave while my son was serving his time. I wish I had known Tiffany, but now I do. And unfortunately, you guys, my son lost this battle. So my job now is to help y'all fight because we can't let this happen to anybody else's child.
I agree. So
You
what do
send your
you
child to
what's
prison to
mhm.
serve their time, not to get strung out on drugs.
Or to become a dealer too, because some of them become a dealer.
Yeah. Well, my son told me, Chase told me once, he said, Mom, if you're not a criminal when you get here, you have to develop criminal mentality. and sometimes behavior in order to survive. The only thing that the advice you asked me yesterday, other than just telling our kids don't do it, what would I do? I would tell your child and everybody else's child, don't give up on God because God won't give up on you. And that seems so cliche-ish, but I will never give up on God because I'm living witness right here, right now. I have other children. I thank God every day for waking me up and helping me get through this. When you lose someone, we all know that, after that person's gone, everybody goes back to their life. They go back home, go back to their jobs. But when you lose your child, you don't go back to being the same person you were. And to know that my child took his last breath in that hellhole without me, it makes me wonder as a mom, did he ask for me? Did he think about was he thinking about me? Because I was sure thinking about him. And I don't want another mom to ever have to deal with this type of heartbreak.
Right. When you got to the prison, because you said that you and your husband was driving, and when you got to the facility, what happened after that?
We couldn't go to the facility. And then they wouldn't let us see his body after he was pronounced dead and taken to a local hospital. Uh, uh, Let me try to remember. Chase's sister,
Mm-hmm.
that lives in Texas, was calling around. She and her mother was calling around trying to find Chase because they didn't give us the they just didn't give us any information. We didn't know what hospital. They said a local hospital, and not being from that area, we didn't know if he was in Pine Bluff or hospital in Dermot, but we weren't able to. I wasn't able to see Chase's body until after the autopsy.
And I can't even imagine by you not having information what you're going through in that moment, because you know your son has
Well,
already
they told me that I
passed.
wasn't my child's next of kin. He'd never been married.
Next to kin, and you the mama, and us mamas got the stretch marks. What you mean you wasn't
Got
the
all
next
the
to
stretch
kin?
marks, and all the gray hairs. To
Right. That's
but
that's what they said to you?
yeah, so I had to end up contacting, someone legally to help me, and the state troopers were and Arkansas state troopers. They were really good in helping me get information. The Oh God, what is it? The medical examiner's office. I just stopped calling the prison because I was even told at one point when I called, because I was calling the prison like every day whenever I thought about it. Like, y'all gonna talk to me. I sent them a certified letter. I wanted information.
Mhm.
And so I was told the last time that I called the prison not to call there anymore because um, it was out of their hands at this point, that Arkansas Crime Lab and state police would be handling it from there.
So is
And
there
it's a year
something
later and they're still handling it, y'all.
a year later?
Yeah.
Is there something that we should do as mothers, cuz they said you wasn't the next to kin, but you're the mama? What
So
do we need to do on our end?
we need to make sure that we have healthcare and financial proxies, power of attorneys for our children when they get locked up.
And how do we do that?
So it's different in all states. Some states you can go online and fill out a power of attorney form. Uh, some people, if you have an attorney, a private attorney for your child,
Mhm.
they know the laws for your state and they can help you get that paperwork done. But please get it done. You don't want to be a mom that calls and send certified letters for them to call you back to tell you that they can't give you any information concerning your child's death. passing because you're not his next of kin. He'd never been married.
And that's just beyond, that's like crazy because you the mom.
Mhm. You think that once you're the mom, you're always the mom, and that you could find out information, but you it's just that was the gist of it. So I we waited. We had his services and everything, and we still didn't know he died in March, and it was July before we got the autopsy report.
Mm,
This is very it's hard on families uh, because now y'all my other kids can't go anywhere without me telling I need to know where you're at.
right. Look, they got them iPhones. Y'all better turn on your location and them
Mm,
air tags and putting air tags in your
yeah,
sneakers.
yeah.
So let's talk about the family dynamic.
Okay.
So, cause you, I'm pretty sure your other children, because you probably what did you? I'm most likely you went into depression,
Oh
and
yeah.
did they feel like they were like losing their mom in that moment? Like, tell me the dynamic on what happened with that, and then your
I
husband
have a
too.
really I have a very strong spiritual support system. My
Okay,
church is amazing. Uh, my church members, my sister's church in Virginia, and her church members, my huge family. I'm not gonna say I went into a depression.
okay,
Um, very, very sad, very, very down, very, very worked up. Yes, but I know who God is, and I know that He's real, and I know that He didn't do this for no reason. Was I confused about what it is that He had done? Of course, I'm still confused, but He knew that um, He could bring me to this and through it, and I would say, "Send me." I'm not gonna lay down. I never once had the thought of uh, not being here anymore because that wasn't an option.
okay.
Because I can't get justice for my child or anybody else's if I'm not here anymore. I
That is
can't help
so
any.
right because
Mhm.
we need you.
Right. It's selfish of me to not want to be here anymore when there's people that need to know what happened to my son.
Right.
I can't, and I just can't find that bit of selfishness in my spirit right now because my son's life mattered, and I know that although he's not with us physically, I know that to be absent in the body, I
Is
know
to
where
be
he is.
present with the Lord.
That's right. And y'all don't even understand how I know some probably say she's just crazy, but sometimes when I walk around this house and I feel my son's presence, I feel the presence of the Holy Ghost on me. My
What
tears are
would
of joy, not of pain.
So I want to ask you this one because I think sometimes God gives us peace I know this is gonna sound crazy. I don't know how to explain it. So if I don't say it right, forgive me that's listening. But when my son got shot back in 2019,
Mm,
and for some reason I was watching this movie and I literally instantly started praying the blood of Jesus over my son, right? I don't know
mhm,
what made me even do that. I don't even know where he was at, but just something just in my gut, just when you were mentioning about that God gave you a dream. And
mhm.
then I get a phone call saying that, well, the phone call was like, Miss Tiffany, I think I saw Damiani on Snapchat. I think someone just shot him. I'm not sure. That's how the phone call went, right? But when you mentioned, this is how I know us mamas, y'all, if y'all don't know, look, if y'all not saved on this live, y'all better get saved after this because
Mm.
um I don't
God
know
is real.
why I was, I had a piece, but I just dropped to my knees. I remember being in my apartment and I just dropped to my knees and I instantly went into prayer. But it was something about when I was watching that movie. I don't know if I was that if something was about to happen to him because obviously something did, but when then I got the phone call of saying from my parents saying
Mhm.
that the doctor
Mm.
just said that he's not gonna make it. My
Oh
mom
my God.
fainted. My mom fainted, and my dad was in shock. And but something about what you said is that something I don't know what it Holy Spirit, whatever the unction is as a mother, that I just felt
Intuition. It's just that
that he
motherly intuition. You feel it. We feel
yeah.
what our kids feel.
And I just knew like that he wasn't going to be taken out, and you had a dream that gave you peace even though it's hard. But
Mhm.
that's why when you because I caught what you said about you said I wasn't depressed, but it feels like maybe God gave you a peace about I don't
He
know the right
protects us.
verbiage. Yes.
God
Yes.
protects us. And I had this dream literally months before this happened. That's how much God loves me. He said, I'm not going to let my baby girl, like, I'm not going to let this hit her without making sure, she's prayed up for it. And
Mm.
my Aunt Phyllis told me a long time ago, because I've always been a dreamer. She said, when you start dreaming
Mhm.
like that and you see things so vividly and so clearly, when you wake up, you start praying. Don't get scared. Start praying. And I did. And I remembered that. And I truly remembered it when I had this dream because I knew that it was going to be, I thought it was going to be me, y'all. I thought it was me in the dream, but God had already prepared me for it. And
Mm.
I think that He had prepared Chase. I think that he had visited Chase.
Mm.
And I know somebody's probably going to say, cuckoo, but hey, call me what you want to.
Hey,
I have
I
peace knowing that
understand
my
you.
baby had an encounter with the Lord before he went to meet him. I get peace in that.
Praise God, Sybil. I love that. What do you want to tell the mothers that are listening who children that may have an addiction? And what are the signs that a mother should pay attention to when their child has addiction? And because we can't say the word, I'm pretty sure we can't say K2 on the calls because the guards are listening, but
Mm,
I don't know.
spice or whatever
Okay,
it is that they're calling it.
okay.
You don't even have to ask them that. I think that um, so I saw a picture of my son
Mm-hmm.
when he was really using that K2 in prison. I saw a picture of him and it didn't I said that's not my son.
Mm,
And that's why I know that he had, kind of uh gotten cleaned up from it because his skin looked different and he looked different and he was talking different. He had cleaned up from it. So I truly believe after speaking with some other people that one of the things that's so unpredictable about K2, although Chase had used K2 before, being clean from it, and then he used it, and then we really don't know if, it was time for Chase to come home, moms. So when it's time for your kids to come home, ask them to keep it quiet. It ain't everybody's business that it's time for you to come home because Chase may have been, given something because it was time for him to come home. It could have been laced. K2 is so unpredictable. So when your child is a year from, or less coming home, muzzle it. And that's when
yeah.
your families need to jump in there. Right, right, right. Stay in touch with your child. Family support is everything. That's how they make it. Family support. When you go, and it's hard because we're working, we have other kids, we have things that we have to do. It's hard to write. That was one of my guilts is that I was like, oh gosh, I got this letter over here. I need to mail my son. I just mail Chase this letter, but y'all try to get those letters out, mail them because especially when they're in the hole and they can't call, they have those letters. He said he told me so many times how letters that I had written him 2 or 3 years ago, he would read them and reread them and reread them
Yeah.
like watching a rerun, but that's what he had. So if that information helps anybody, and
No, it helps. And I want you to go ahead and before we, wrap up this, I want you to share from your heart to mothers that are listening, who may be in denial, who maybe don't want to believe, like, oh, this wouldn't happen to my son or my daughter, what do you want to tell mothers that are listening right now?
Stay in touch with your child as much as possible. We have to use good common sense when it comes to sending them money and stuff, uh, because we know we have stuff that we have going on out here. Don't send them any cash apps and Venmos and any of that. Y'all do it the legal way on their books, because if you get caught, you get in trouble. If they get in caught, they're going to get in trouble. So send them the money, put the money on their books. I know that there's a lot of gambling that goes on in prison, a lot of drug usage, not a fight, and these guys are surviving. But when you communicate with with your kids, truly communicate with them. Listen, like truly hear what it is that they are telling you, because sometimes your relationship with your child, you know that your child is telling you something. He's crying out, I need help. uh, I could see little things in some of the letters. um, when my son wanted somebody to know something, he would always tell me, Ma, he would write me and say, Ma, tell my cousin, my first cousin, they're like brothers, but he would
Hmm.
tell I need his address and to call me, or to write me. I need his address. And that let me know that there's something going on that Chase is not wanting me to know, because he know I
Mm.
worry or whatever.
Okay.
But his cousin, closer to his age and kind of knows streets and street life and stuff a little bit better than me, than I did. So I knew it was something, but I knew I could always trust my nephew to, if I needed to know something, he would tell me what I needed to know. But just listen to your kids. Uh, Pray with them. If anybody on here, like Tiffany was saying before, if you have not been introduced to God, if your child or children have not been introduced to who God is, it's past time to learn. So let's get it. We got to. They need to know. Even when people give up on you, when you give up on yourself, don't give up on God, because God will not. He cannot tell a lie, and he will not give up on you. He brings us to things to bring us through things. That's why I'm here. That's why Tiffany is here, in all of our own pain and hurt. When you ladies hurt, some of the comments and stuff that you write, when y'all hurt, trust me, I'm taking this personally. I'm taking it personally. Uh, to be there. If you like to reach out to me, feel free to reach out to me on
Yes.
Messenger, on
Well,
Facebook,
give them
or
your full information so they can find you. You
okay.
guys,
So I'm
Sybil. Yes.
Sybil on Facebook, Sibs World on Instagram and TikTok, and you guys, feel free. Your story is different from mine, but we can always chat it up.
Yes. And
God is keeping me out
the
here to
one
chat it
thing
up with y'all.
the one thing y'all don't know about Sybil, she's gonna come back because y'all listen to this drum roll, drum roll. This is gonna shock y'all. Cause I was like, girl, you gotta come back for round two. I said, we can't talk about this all on the live. She
No, no.
also, y'all, listen to this, y'all. She also worked in the prison as a nurse. So I'm gonna have her and her friend, because her friend, correct? Your friend is still continue
My
working in the
best
prison
friend. No, she's not. She doesn't. She's a registered nurse, but she doesn't work in the prison anymore.
anymore.
We
Okay.
we we gave that up.
Okay, so yeah, so you guys, I'm bringing Sybil and her friend back to talk about when they were nurses in the prison and what they seen and the things that we should look for. And like she's, you guys, when she tell you some of the stories, she had me. I was like, what? Wow, you guys, I'm gonna have her back on the podcast because we need to know what is it like the day in the life of a nurse. That's in the prisons because they know I haven't had that on there and I
Yeah.
need that.
I'm
Hmm.
still a mom, so working and
Yeah.
uh, taking care of other people's children. It gave me a lot of
Yes.
comfort. I know that the karma you put out is what you get back. So I know that someone had to have some compassion for my son, because I had compassion for a lot of people's kids during those years.
You have
But
a question in the chat. Someone, and you guys go ahead. If you guys want to ask Sybil some questions before we end this pod, you guys please do. There's a
uh,
question. Do you see it,
I
Sybil?
saw Miss Robinson posted, what will the prison do if you notice something different about your child? That's a difficult question, Ms. Robinson, because those people are the same people that will give your child something knowing that it's going to hurt them, or allow people to beat your child up, the guards, the warden. But we have to be liaisons for our children. If they don't do anything, keep calling. But we do have to be careful because we don't want to cause problems for our kids either. Just listen to your child, and if you feel that your child is sick, you might need to make a call, you know, to medical, say, hey, my child's put in a sick call, and he's still sick, and we need help. You're gonna have to stay it's an everyday thing. I know
Yeah.
that's not the answer that you were really looking for. That's a really hard question because everybody is different. Everybody's situation is different. But I would reach out to somebody, even if it's the secretary that answers the phone when you call the prison. Let them know, my child's sick, or my child's not feeling good. They have to address. They're supposed to address your child's issues.
Yes. You guys have been amazing in this chat. You
Amen.
guys were on fire in the chat.
I know.
Sybil, thank you so much for sharing your son. And Sybil, what is behind you to let the
Oh,
audience know
okay. So I've got Chase here with us, y'all.
Chase is with her?
It's his Ashes is with us, and
Yes.
this is how this was his bulletin. Real
Yes.
simple. We just front and back. That's all I wanted, and that was Chase, adult, child, and kind of teenage years, but he's with us.
Yes, he
Um,
is.
he
Chase
keeps
matters, and we're going to keep speaking his name. And Sybil, God has so much in store for you. Listen, I'm not a prophet, but I know that God has so much for you to help other mothers that are struggling or who are have been in the same shoes as you have. So I know that you're gonna get listen, you're gonna get up out that seat and you are gonna be a blessing and you are gonna
praise
speak
God,
life to other mothers who have lost
praise
their
God.
sons to the prison system. Um, we shouldn't have to lose our sons and daughters in prison when they're supposed to go do their time and come home and then get their
That's
lives
right.
together.
That's right.
I just don't understand that. But Sybil, God has a calling on your life, and for you to walk into it to help so many mothers that need you. And I'm grateful to God that I we met and we connected. And you have a beautiful soul. And just by looking at you, you couldn't even tell that you lost this child because you just look amazing. So that's how I
Thank
know
you.
God's grace and
It's
God's
God.
mercy and God's
Yeah.
anointing is on
Yes.
you to be able to
Yes.
stand here and share your story to help so many women. Again, you guys, I'm not putting fear or doubt or any type of that into the atmosphere. And Sybil needs to tell her story to let you guys know that we need to be there for our sons and daughters. Write them, like she says. I don't care if it's once a month. I know we have
Yeah.
the tablet now, but she
Yeah.
said it's something about that pen and paper
Yeah.
that our sons and daughters need.
My son said he could smell me all through his letters. And for him to be in solitaire and to feel comfort in my smell, it made me feel better. So write your babies. I understand now, y'all, these letters are read before your child gets it. They're supposed to be checked to make sure that there's no drugs or anything like that in the mail. So really, be careful. You know, it kind of makes it like it's invading your privacy, your conversation between you and your child. But just so you know, I mean, some people don't know that those letters are pre or read before they get them to the inmate. I was telling Tiffany that I wrote Chase a letter, and it had been a long time before
Oh,
I had written him. So I wrote the letter way too long, and they sent the letter back, and told me that you got to send it in different envelopes because it was
I
too
remember.
long. So don't write the letters too long, y'all. But I just had so much to say to him. God was just working with me. It was one of those mornings. It was 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was praying and writing and praying and writing, and I wanted him to just hear it all and have it all. And he did get to read the first 2 pages of that particular letter. Unfortunately, he did not get to read the rest of that letter because that was February the 19th. By the time I got the letter back, March the 7th had happened. But one more really quick fact, thing that I want to share with you guys, how good God is in all of this. Like I said, I had asked other people to write my son, and one young lady had written my son, and he wrote her back, and she got the letter after he had passed away.
Oh.
So she did a
Oh.
tribute to him at his funeral services because they were really good friends. They had gotten clean together, from drugs and stuff. And I just wanted to put that out there that don't hold those letters.
Yes.
Send those letters. One of the things our church is doing, I'm a member at Fellowship of Faith here in Madison. Pastor Troy is my pastor, and one of the things that we just are brand new working on is uh, like a prison card ministry, and I'm excited about that. So anybody that wants their child to get some cards or some type of encouragement from me and some of my other
Praise
Christian
God.
friends, inbox me those addresses and those SID numbers, and I'm happy to reach out because I would hate to think that it was Christmas morning rolled by or birthday rolled by or any type of holiday and somebody's child don't at least get a card. So
Yes, I
I
will
would
make
love to do
sure
that.
in the description I will put your Facebook information so people can reach out
Okay.
to you. Again, you guys, thank you everyone for watching. Until next time, you guys, remember that no mother walks alone. We are in this journey together. I don't care what they say. You birthed out greatness. I don't care guilty, not guilty, innocent, not innocent. That is still your child, and God
Amen.
still has a calling for that child. Sybil, thank you so much for being on this live with me.
Me too.
You guys
Thank
have
you.
a great night. Love you guys.
Love y'all. Thank you.